Welcome to this week's Ask GMBN, where we get to answer all those questions that you've been sending us in the comment section down below. Hashtag Ask GMBN, and then your question. And hopefully we pick them out and we can answer them. This week, we got Chris Smith in from
How you doing, Blake? You all right?
We've got him to help us answer all these questions that you've been asking us. So let's crack on with the first question. Earth Arrow. What a name.
Hell of a name.
Yeah, this is the first question from Earth Arrow. It says, why does people just put road wheels and tyres as spare set of MTB instead of getting a roadie? Instead of getting a road bike? Have you ever done that?
Well, what, putting road bike wheels in a mountain bike?
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't fit.
Wheels, no, because you know mountain bikes all boost
Through axles,
like
all
150 or 20 mil or 10 mil.
Yeah.
That's not going to work. I have put tyres on a mountain bike.
So 29-inch wheel will fit a 700cc tyre on, which is the road bike size. So loads of different options going on. But
you can.
The other thing is with fitting 700cc tyres to a 29-inch rim, it's going to be the profile of the rim. It's really going to blow that skinny tyre out.
Yeah.
So, you know,
but you can get semi-slick or slick mountain bike tyres. They're full basic, like a cruiser. So they've got big rims, and your cruisers have got some nice ball tyres. I have done that to commute when I used to work. Work.
And commuting, I use a 2.2, I think I got a Maxxis Crossmark 2 on there. Really good, high pressure, really low rolling resistance.
Yeah. My cousin uses it. He does a lot of commuting to work, and he uses his mountain bike, and he's got a spare set of wheels. But they're mountain bike wheels. They can be done.
And it does become quite expensive when you start buying a wheel set, cassettes, disc brake rotors, all that stuff. It mounts up to a lot of money.
It does mount up. So you can get you can get a cheap road bike if you want to go down that route. We go on from Tim Garland. Says, why can a shock absorber on a car easily run for 100k miles, but a fork and rear shock has to be rebuilt every 50 hours on a mountain bike? Well, a car they're designed to take a hell of a lot of punishment. They're pretty basic and simple. Some come in air, some come in oil. They're all a bit different, and they're cheap to replace.
I think the size of the seals as well. You'd be surprised how active your suspension is on your mountain bike, and you've got a tiny little seals in there with a lot of weight and a lot of big hits coming through all that. So it is a lot of stress you're putting under those little tiny seals. Repetitive, horrible conditions. Like on a car, you're quite well protected. You've got wheel arches, some plastic covers where there's all your seals and stuff are quite exposed. On a mountain bike, so all that dirt and grime getting in there with a bit of paste.
Yeah, and the ingenuity that goes into those little things, there's tiny little parts in there that can actually go wrong. And like you said, getting a punishment constantly. When you go out riding your bike, you're punishing it. I know I do. When I go in my car, you're just going down a nice smooth surface.
Hit the occasional pothole.
And you hit an occasional pothole, which is
a dead badger.
Or a dead badger. Or, you go off-road,
In Jeff. Overlanding.
Yeah. So a car is totally different. I would recommend servicing you full because, they do get destroyed. Next question. MTB tips and tricks. Oh, he's asking us a question. He's got some tips and tricks. The other day, I bled my brakes and then went to test them. They were fine. The next day, I got my bike out, started to ride, and they're squeaking. So basically, his discs are squeaking, and to the point where his ears were bleeding.
Really?
Now,
sounds pretty nasty.
He wants to know how he can stop that.
Well, squealing is a sign of contamination on your brake pads. Unfortunately, it sounds you've either got a bit of oil on there, you've got a leaking piston in the caliper, something like that, or maybe you've been lubing the chain, you've got a bit of overspray gone onto the rotors, and there isn't much you can actually do for the contaminated pads aside from replacing them. A really important part is to clean the rotor as well to make sure there's no oil on there as well. So just check that it's not getting wet anywhere as well, because that could be a sign of a leak on the caliper.
He did say he's cleaned it and all that, so it could be contaminated pads. So you try cleaning it. Another thing I do is go down a long hill with a water bottle, have the brake on, depending on which one it is, not fully on, like feathering it, so there's a bit of pressure and squirting water on it, or I chuck loads of mud in there.
And the other thing you can do if you want a little bit of a hack, I see Henry's got a hacks video as well coming up, but one thing I've done for contaminated pads, heat them up with a blowtorch, wait for them to get red hot, and it actually burns the oil out of it, and then just sand them back down, you should be good to go.
There you go. That's it. I've never done that one.
There you go.
So as you can see, I'm taking the wheel out of the bike, putting that disc far, far away from any risk of oil. I'm going to do the same with the pads as well. It's such a stupid way to contaminate anything, So, let's be sensible, let's get our thinking caps on. So that, Mr. Wheel, you can live down there. Weirdly enough as well, normally I'd put the axle back in, which is only a small detail, I suppose, but we're gonna be doing a lot of work on this caliper and we need it out of the way. So I'm just gonna put that on the side there.
Going back to that question, how long do you think car suspension would last if you were to take it down a World Cup track?
Exactly, it's a different world. I think,
I think it would
first
work.
couple of corners, you'd be stumped out for sure.
For sure, you probably blow a seal, those things. And they're only limited to what, that much travel?
Yeah, not a lot, is
is it?
Different world.
Yeah. Question.
Another one.
Yeah, we've got a few, but they're really interesting. This one's really good because I've actually had this problem before and I was wondering how and why. And I've got an answer. I think you have as well.
Right.
It comes from Paul Richards. I've converted my tyres to tubeless. I have a pump. I have to pump my tyres up every few days because of loss of pressure. I don't see sealant leaking or anything. And I can't find any leak. Is this normal for tubeless? I've had this done. I've seen it on the side of tyres.
Yeah.
Where your tyre is not tubeless ready.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can get leakage, like bleed, and air kind of leaks through the rubber, through the fabric. But he said he can't see anything. But I've had that before, and I've had to keep pumping up my tyres. Another one is if you're using used tyres.
Yeah.
To get them seated is pretty hard, and they do lose pressure, and that's what happened to my brothers.
Is it?
Yeah. So used tyres are pretty common one to not get seated and lose pressure.
Exactly. I think one of the most common problems I've had with tubeless is actually the rim tape itself. Like even factory fitted stuff, sometimes there can be a little split in the tape and it will leak into the spoke hole, and then the spoke hole obviously comes through into the nipple and then you lose pressure that way. The other thing is just to retape it. I would go for some decent quality rim tape from loads of different brands. Do it. Just retape the wheel and that should see any problems. But just make sure, as Blake says, your tyre is actually tubeless ready because you will not keep that pressure.
You won't, especially on that bead connecting to the rim. It kind of leaks out. Also, maybe check your valve because it could be leaking just around the bottom where it gets connected to the rim. It's another thing to look out for.
Sure.
But it is a pain. Imagine getting your bike in your garage and you're looking at flipping, I gotta pump them things up again.
Yeah, I think it is quite normal sometimes if you leave your bike. I think if I leave it for a couple of weeks, I will notice, say, a drop of 5-10 psi in there, but you shouldn't be losing a lot of pressure.
No. Maybe check it, redo it. Oh, it's annoying, but
exactly.
It can be messy. Anyway, JS. Hey guys. Hey. To grease or not to grease? Through axles, steerer tubes, around the bearings, and crown race. Probably going to have a bad time greasing the steerer tube at the stem, right? So that's a question. He said, keep up the great work. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Hopefully will. I would grease. Lightly grease. Lightly grease your axles because, if it's a quick release one and you're taking your front tyre out or your rear, you want it to be nice and snug and smooth and nice and glidey, not just sticky and horrible.
Yeah, and I think grease as well as obviously lubricating, it also forms kind of a seal as well. So really important on things like you mentioned, your lower headset bearings, really good idea to keep some grease in there because obviously right in the firing line of the front wheel, firing all the water and grime up. So put a bit of grease around there. Through axles, for sure. I think grease. I'd go grease rather than not grease.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, coming winter months, you get corrosion on aluminium, and that could just bond, and it's super hard to get anything out.
Exactly.
Bearings 100%, especially when you're cleaning your bike. It goes in all the headset, and it just starts to creak, rust. I've had it. I've done it.
I think going back to the axles as well, it's a nightmare. I've been there before with a sees-through axle on a fork. If you haven't been lubing that up and you're trying to get that out, if you've got a flat tire or something, it is the worst thing ever. So keep on top of that. This also helps remove and stuff as well. It's not just about keeping it running. It's about removing stuff from the bike as well. So grease.
Keeps your bike quiet as well.
Grease it up.
OE0 says, how much faster is a 29er versus 27.5? If everything about two bikes were the same. Do you know what? It's the first time I'm going to say it, but 29er is fast. I've just got myself my first 29er. And not gonna lie, it's super quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say that as well. Recently I've ridden 27, well obviously started on 26, and I've done 27.5. Then I've had a mix on some of the e-bikes. We ride 29 front, 27.5 rear. But recently I've just got my new Levo, and that's 29 front and rear, and that thing absolutely flies. It rolls over everything.
It rolls everything.
I wasn't gonna be into it at first, but I was holy, this is
I wasn't
this is
into it.
fast.
Being two free riders, being big wheels kind of get in the way.
But I don't think it
Jumping.
does now. I think the technology's kind of moved on.
It's moved on.
You get used to that. I think when I get back on a little jump bike, I'm like, where are the wheels?
Where the hell are those wheels?
Yeah, they're like these tiny little wheels, so it feels like riding a scooter.
Yeah, but I think there's a video involved where we can get a 27.5 versus 29. I think we've done one before, but they weren't the same bikes.
And I think you really need to look at the fastest cycling discipline is obviously cross country. Well, for overall bike speed, and they're all there. You will not see one of those riders on a 27.5 bike, and that's probably for a good reason.
Because 29 is faster. Right, we've done a video on this. Take a look at this.
29ers are for tall people, right?
Exactly, Neil.
27 for short stuffs.
100% yes. Neil, look at the size of these wheels, man! Neil, I'm really high up, mate! It's too high! Neil! I'm too rad for us, can you hear me? Neil!
You are not too rad for 29er. What I mean is you can do rad stuff on it. 29's been around for a while now.
Yeah, like 20 years.
It has been, surprisingly long time actually.
Yeah.
But the last few years, 3 to 5 years, things have really progressed. And you can do loads of stuff on them really well. They've become the standard for enduro racing.
They have.
Also, downhill's going that way as well. So, come on, let's go for more of a ride. And I'll show you what they're really good at.
Racing, right?
What?
So, fast, that means speed. Is it gonna make me faster?
Almost certainly.
Elucigner. Hopefully that's how you say it. I'm very sorry. He's asking a question about lycra. Is lycra actually safe for cross country with the crashes they take? Well, they're not very well protected as such when they're racing.
No.
But wearing pads can be a hindrance really when you're riding because of just getting in the way.
Yeah, and chafing and stuff.
It's-
The
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of miles those guys are putting in, sweating loads.
Yeah, and the weight is an issue. You don't want to be putting a lot of stuff on your body because that would just eliminate all your, your power to get out there.
And I think the biggest thing with lycra obviously is how aero it is about cutting through the air. Nice and lightweight, it's really good fabric for cutting through the air and fast, and that's what those guys want. It might not be the best protection, but it's the fastest thing out there for riding bikes.
Exactly. A helmet's the only thing you need, potentially glasses as well, and good footwear. But yeah, pads probably not,
Not for
probably
that sort of
not.
thing.
I don't think I would race in full pads.
No.
It's super uncomfortable.
Especially across country.
Yeah, right, in baggies and stuff. Nah. We're going from Hans Peter. How did you get Martin's bike to Whistler? I'm seriously curious and love the show. Well, thank you very much that you love the show. And so Mr. Ashton's bike, you're wondering probably about the tandem.
Yeah.
Now that tandem, I wouldn't say it's a mission, it kind of was. It comes in 2 bags. One's a box and one's a normal bike bag. Most of it would go in the big box. You just disconnect the linkage from the rear shock. You fold it on itself, and it kind of makes it makes it quite small. You take the whole front end off, so forks and wheels and all that jazz and handlebars and all that, wheels, seat and everything goes in the bike bag, and the rest goes in the box. But we didn't travel with batteries.
I was going to say one of the stumbling blocks with e-bikes in particular is travelling with batteries. So I think you guys left the batteries here and rented them out.
We rented some out there from I've forgotten the name of the bike.
Cosmos Sports, is it?
Cosmos Sports, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was good.
That's one of the big stumbling blocks of e-bikes is transporting them on a plane. You're not allowed to travel the batteries at all. So we always advise, get to location, rent a battery out. It's becoming super popular now, especially in Europe and all like Leger and places like that. You can go to the shops, rent a battery. Best way to do it if you're looking at renting an e-bike.
Exactly. But yeah, it comes in 2 bags. It's quite a mission to get it there. But it's fun. When it's there, holy moly, it's the best thing ever.
It look crazy.
So there you go, that's the end of Ask GMBN for this week. But if you want to get involved and you want some questions answered in next week's, let us know in the comment section down below. Hashtag Ask GMBN. And then the question. And hopefully we can pick them up. And if we don't get it in the video, hopefully we can do some commenting on some typing. But yeah, if you want to stick around and watch some more GMBN, don't forget to hit the globe to subscribe because you're missing out on some rad stuff. And if you want to stick around and watch some more videos, because why not, click over here for me racing the Mega Avalanche on a hardtail.
Yeah, and if you want to see what all this tandem talk is about, check out this video of Blake and Martin sending it down A-line out in Whistler. Pretty crazy.
It's nuts. Give us a thumbs up, like, and we'll see you next time. See ya.